Hello and welcome everybody once again to the Mineski Pro Gaming League season number 6. It is leg number 6 as well, so the last one before we find out who actually qualifies for the LAN finals in Philippines by the end of November. But it is a 2-game series between MSI Evolution Gaming Team and Nvidia Aces, who actually took down Invasion 2-0 rather convincingly as well. Definitely was a surprise for me, so we'll have to see if they can kind of replicate their success from the previous series in this one as well. But we're HeflaTV, of course. I am Coacher, and I am joined by Mike Lores.
Killing off Invasion twice. I mean, even once is impressive, but doing it twice in a row, and Nvidia Aces coming off a pretty big win. Now, Invasion, they're no slouches. Like, they're pretty good as far as the whole C scene is concerned, but MSI, do you think they're better? Do you think they're worse? How do you think they're going to hold up against Aces?
Well, to be honest, before that previous series, I would have put MSI as the favorites coming into this, but I mean, like you said, Invasion, they're definitely one of the forerunners in the Southeast Asian scene. I think you yourself casted the game up against Insidious Idol for JDL a couple of days ago. So it was definitely extremely surprising to me, and just they looked so damn solid in both games, just getting the early advantage and really never letting go of it. And I'm not too sure. MSI, of course, they do ban out the IO, which was one of the reasons for success in game number 1 at the very least. Running an IO bristleback dual mid, actually. So, at least taking that one out, but man, it's going to be a good game nonetheless, I think.
Well, that's the really least we could hope for, as we also see Death Prophet Razor and the Terrorblade all being banned out. Brewmaster still in the pool, and well, I still think Brewmaster is one of those heroes that's just first pickable. Doesn't really matter what game plan you're going to run. If you are going to be running super aggressively and getting that early edge and then trying to hold on to it, Brewmaster is just one of the best at doing that.
I have to agree, just so often we see Brewmasters that don't actually even rely on the primal split so much. You just get the blink early and just blink Thunderclap already early on in the game. It's just so devastating, and well, I guess you were spot on. That's the pick for MSI. So, Aces, what works best up against Brewmaster? I guess you would either like some silences, some burst, or some solid lockdown to maybe make it so that he can't even primal split. But if he does primal split, you're pretty much, if you're a core hero, you're just gonna spend most of the times in the air by the Cyclone.
Yeah, or just trying to run away. There aren't really many great heroes that are good at dealing with Brewmaster in the split. Like, there are heroes that could just tank it and ignore it. Like, if you pick up pretty much any strength hero, then most of the time you'll be able to ignore the damage the Brewmaster's putting out, or ignore most of it. But the ideal solution is to pick up something like a Skywrath Mage right here and just try to lock the Brewmaster down through silences. You could go for a hero with the Hex, Lion Shadow Shaman, as those spells come out very quickly as well. But Brewmaster is strong enough in lane that there aren't many counters. Centaur is a decent one. He's a strength hero that is going to shrug off most of the damage, and if he gets his Blink Dagger and blinks onto the Brewmaster, it's really good initiation, and you can catch him by surprise and try to kill him off before he has a chance to split.
Well, it's definitely one way to go about it, and if you can manage it as well, then good for you in the team fight. Just taking out the Brewmaster immediately is definitely something that can just tip the scales in the team fight in your favor. But Aces now, what do they partner it up with? I guess something like a Skywrath Mage is one of the more common supports, for example, to go with this, especially if it's up against a Brewmaster.
Yeah, you can't really go wrong with the Skywrath Mage, especially versus the Brewmaster, and especially with the Centaur. The two of them work so well together. Early on, you can be aggressive, and then later on, when you have a Blink Dagger in your Centaur, then you're going to be setting up for a very easy Mystic Flare. And when you're talking about killing off a Brewmaster, you really need to land that combination very quickly so that the Brewmaster, again, can't split out. This combination is tried and tested. It's also, a possibility to go for a Vengeful Spirit and have another stun stack up, but only a couple teams like to do that. Skywrath Mage is a lot more common.
It definitely is, and well, Skywrath Mage overall is kind of flexible in a sense that you can partner it up with most everything. So you don't have to go for a certain secondary support here. I mean, something like an Earthshaker, Wraith King, any of those could do. MSI though, do they go for a support here now? Do they just solidify their mid-game team fight? Or what would be the best decision for MSI here?
Well, really, when you have a Brewmaster, you could go in any direction. Up against a Centaur Scarith Mage, you know you're going to be uh, forced to be playing a little bit defensively, else you lose a whole bunch of heroes. So they can just turtle up and try to prep for the late game and try to take just 4 core heroes who could fight very early on, and then pick someone who is going to be a little bit more of a hard farmer. Or they could just try to fight fire with fire and then try to out-aggression the Ace's side. That's a little bit harder since it's hard to top Centaur Warrunner. The lanes against him aren't really there are no really great lanes against Centaur Warrunner unless you want to run a super aggressive defensive tri lane, which is kind of weird to see. But either way, it's mostly just a matter of what MSI want to pick right now. Again, it's so many strong heroes in the pool that no matter what they pick, they could roll with pretty well.
It's definitely so. I mean, it's still the beginning of the draft after all as well. And to be honest, the games I saw or casted of Aces versus Invasion as well, the drafts, they pretty much both teams used up almost all of their reserve time. And you can see it here as well, just the first 2 picks and Aces down to 43 seconds, whereas MSI 30 seconds and counting down. So I guess drafting is rather hard here. Of course, maybe we're gonna see something completely crazy. Like, maybe later on along the draft though. Usually the first 2 picks are still just kind of standard for most teams.
Yeah, I'm always crossing my fingers for something a little bit weird, but ultimately the draft hasn't been weird yet, and it's usually in the 4th pick where things get really crazy. So
I guess we have to remake.
we're not going to see anything. Everyone's gone. Ursa!
Yeah,
They're
so
locked
it's,
into
it's
Ursa.
just a remake.
Oh.
Because
Play
this
Ursa,
one was
guys.
random, yeah. So the same ban pick. Oh man. I just hope that they actually remade it now as well. But everybody was disconnected, so I guess maybe the admin wasn't around either, but I highly doubt that they're gonna continue with the Ursa random here.
Well, I mean, too bad Wisp is out of the pool. Ursa Wisp is pretty good. You could go for early Roshan, they get a Nature's Prophet. It could be worse.
Well, it could, but I guess we're just gonna have to wait for the admin to catch up to it as well, that it was actually players disconnecting. Well, I left the game. Are you still in the draft, by the way?
No, I left also.
So, I mean, worst comes to worst, we still have the ticket as well available, so... But yeah, it's actually weird that more or less the second time now in a couple of days, the teams, if they want to just get a remake or something, they ask for it, but they don't wait for the admin confirmation or anything. They
Yeah,
just
admins have a lot on their plate.
go for
Like
it.
they do a lot of things, so it's hard to just depend on them to always be watching your game.
Well, I'll just write the admin on Steam and it should be fine.
All right, well, this is exciting. I'm glad I woke up nice and
Super
early for
pumped.
this one. Could be earlier though. I don't know if I'm able to
What
wake up.
time is it for you anyway?
7:30 a.m.
Oh, well, it's not that bad, I guess.
Yeah, but like there's people and I'm like trying not to be that loud.
Well, we can hope for the best. I
Also,
let the admin now know on Steam, so yeah, she's in the main menu now as well. Probably lobby will be up in just a couple of seconds, I think. Ooh, there we
Also-
go.
the light above my computer blew out, so I have to use a different one that's a lot darker. So I'm like here sitting in the dark because I don't want to
That's
go
what
and
I
get another light
do
bulb.
half of a day, every day. Or well, I used to at least. Now it's slowly getting to that stage where it's always dark outside anyway.
Yeah, I hate that about this time of year.
Well, looks like we're gonna have to wait a little bit longer because somebody's restarting his PC. Man, fun times.
Yeah, this
So
is
we're just making up for the fact that the game actually started a little bit early. The delays were just supposed to kick in at some point.
oh yeah, it was early. I'm actually very impressed at this tournament because they have been starting always at the very worst on time. Like that's not very common as far as tournaments are concerned.
I mean, I guess you have been just casting the good games.
Oh, really? I mean, I've actually started some early for this, like a little bit.
Well, it's not too late most of the times, but one day, or I think it was the day before yesterday. Oh, the same day, the time when you had Insidious Idol versus Invasion.
Hmm.
We were waiting for Invasion versus First Departure to end for First Departure to arrive, so it started like 45 minutes late by the end.
Well, I mean, that's like not their fault because they were in a different game. But like in all the other ones, when you're not waiting for a team to be done with something, most of the times the teams are actually here pretty early.
Well, the
Arena should
admin
just
is
stop making this
pretty
case.
just badass as well because she doesn't take any crap. She's like, "You're late. First game disqualify, penalties in the overtime and whatnot, the reserve time."
That's how it should be.
I agree. It's the only way to actually get teams to be there on time. Oh, well, I just hope it expands to every league, especially Join Dota League, which is
Their
like the
admins,
epic wait fest.
their admins are just kind of not doing like, yeah, I don't even know.
It's like
It's
usually
frustrating
it's like
sometimes.
7 or 8 minutes after the initial start time is the first time when the admin is like, guys, where are your teammates? Well, we're still here, we're still waiting. Fun times, man, fun times. How long?
Yeah.
I guess a PC restart doesn't take all that long, usually.
Uh, if you have like a solid state, it could take like a minute tops. But if you have a really crap computer and with a lot of stuff that has to be started, it could get really bad. So I don't know how fast these people are with their computers. I have to assume that they're decent, but again, who knows?
Well, yeah, they can't be super bad, but I'm just hoping that they actually went for the restart before this lobby was actually up already. So I think that was pretty much the reason why we even had to remake to begin with. So would make sense if we went for a straight up restart. But then again, what makes sense to some don't make any doesn't make any sense to others. So
All right, so just off the top of your head, what hero do you want to see in this game?
oh, Lina,
Alina?
yes.
Yeah, I think Lena's about time to be played. I feel like she could contribute enough to make her a fringe pick.
Huskar.
Huskar, I'm a little bit more reserved about, but I'm all aboard the Lena. I want to see a Slark also. I haven't seen Slark in a while.
So it's I mean you see Medusas, even Spirit Breaker for Virtus Pro Polar comes out recently quite often even so. So Ogre Magi getting more of or being a more of a popular pick nowadays as well. It's just some heroes never see the light of day. Even a Crystal Maiden. To be honest, the Frostbite is so damn strong on her at the moment for just jungling early.
Yeah, I would rather have an Ogre Magi. Ogre Magi is my boy. I love that hero. Takes so much skill, especially when you hit level 6. It's such a skill-intensive hero. You have no idea. You have to practice so much in order to do well with Ogre Magi at level 6.
To be honest, you have to because
Yeah.
the more you play heroes that are based on RNG in any form, like even like Spirit Bear and Tangle or something, the more you play the heroes, the more inclined they are to give you that RNG. You have to establish that personal relationship.
But also, like, when you're dealing with multicasts, it could do so little damage or so much damage that you have to know what you could go in on and what you could actually depend upon happening in order to, start this fight. It's like if you force staff in and get a single fire blast, then you know that you're screwed. But if you get a triple, then you're like, okay, we're gonna win this fight easily, and then it'll determine how you play. So it's there is some skill involved, but I'm not gonna lie, there's a lot of luck involved too.
I really like how
Sometimes
Rave
just
run it. They run like a Magnus, Ogre Magi plus just any core kind of. And the Bloodlust plus Empower is just so damn devastating. Like literally any right clicker you have who has those two spells on him is just massacring the team fight.
yeah, I think Alliance used to do that a long time ago. They used to have, or when they did pick up Ogre Magi, very infrequently, but they did pick up him, pick up Empower, and then put all that stuff onto a lone Druid Bear, and then just have him do stuff. And then it's so hard to deal with. You have to like ignore him, but you can't really ignore him because he's beating your ass down, and Not fun times.
It's definitely pretty devastating. And overall, Magnus has risen in popularity as well, just a little bit. In I guess the past week or so, maybe 2 weeks. Of course, 6.82 just slowly but surely the drafts are changing for most every team. So just thank God that finally the patch came and we're seeing something different. Of course, some heroes still remain at the god tier, like Death Prophet, even a Razor. But at least, for example, Lycan, you hardly see that hero nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we hardly saw Lycan even beforehand because he was so often banned out. So it's about the same amount of time that you're going to be seeing a Lycan, which is kind of weird, but hey, that's how it worked out. But yeah, there are still, I think, heroes that are just you have to slam first pick. You're like the Brewmaster. If you don't pick him up, then you're gonna have to deal with him, and if you don't ban him out, then it's just a whole mess. So there are still those heroes, but I think it's gonna be pretty impossible for Dota to ever get to that point where it's like, okay, I can hit a random button and be happy with what I get.
Yeah, it's. I actually hope it won't get to that stage, but I'm still hoping
That'll
to
be
see some
crazy.
Husker, man. It just almost never happens. There was a brief period where teams were experimenting with the hero and actually it saw the light of day, but it was really too brief to mention it. But well, we're gonna see the first picks happen the same way as they did before, but MSI will have that secondary pick, which probably won't be an Ursa.
Well, you never know. You have to keep faith alive, man. Believe in the Ursa, and you will be rewarded with an Ursa. But they also have like a lot of reserve time now, which I don't know how that's gonna play out since I guess they already thought about everything. They don't need any more reserve time. It's gonna be a Shadow Demon Brewmaster.
Well, the Shadow Demon definitely an extremely defensive pick here at the moment. Demonic Purge, of course, you can go aggressive with it as well, or even just get Shadow Demon Mirana, something like that. Even Shadow Demon Dazzle can work out. And well, Disruption up against Hoofstomp and Mystic Flare, it's actually pretty damn nice. But I just hope that they will also partner it up with something aggressive for the laning phase.
Something like a Lena, maybe? Huh?
Well,
We could only
it
hope.
definitely is possible. Plus Soul Catcher into Laguna Blade or even just Dragon Slave as well as the Light Strike Array. It's a crazy amount of damage boosted up by the Soul Catcher, so it's a possibility, but somehow, for some reason, teams almost never go for that combo.
Yeah, I mean, eventually, I'm sure it'll happen. If you believe it'll happen, it'll happen. But I don't think it's gonna be that. I mean, Leshrac is just the more common combo, even Kunkka with his Shadow Demon. If you're not doing something like a Mirana, which I expect Aces to ban out here, but they may or may not go for that. We do see a Meepo ban. I don't know enough about Aces to say who's the Meepo player, but it's always a little bit upsetting when you see Meepo banned out, just because you know that you could have possibly seen the hero.
It definitely is a kind of a bummer when your reviewer is like, oh, damn, no Meepo for sure. Although Aces, I'm not too sure if I've ever seen them play the Meepo. At least they didn't use it up against Invasion, and I really don't remember the drafts all that well from the previous leg of MPGL, so no clue really. But Spectre, banned out by Aces, is also a hero that I guess is one of the go-to core heroes at the moment, just because of that 6.82 comeback method, so you might struggle early on, get a couple of kills, and suddenly you still have your Radiance and can be the Spectre that just is a major nuisance. But Aces, they actually ban out the Lycan.
That is a little bit of a weird hero to see, especially when you ban out the Spectre first. I guess Lycan can sometimes be that really hyper carry, but I would say if you're really scared of those heroes, then Anti-Mage, Medusa are a lot more of potent threats. But Lycan's going to get a little bit of respect in this game. But yeah, the Spectre ban is understandable because teams don't really go for these kind of half-core heroes in the Luna and Gyrocopter anymore, even though they can do a lot of damage late. They don't really have that same late game dominance that a Spectre has. So she has been seeing more and more play because of that fact. You have four heroes holding down the fort while the Spectre kind of hides in the back, farms, and tries to get a couple of kill steals with Haunt, but that's about it. And with the way the new patch works and with the way that Tower Gold works and everything like that, it works out pretty well for the team that does have that hyper carry most of the time. Aces are going to pick the Mirana and essentially using that as a third ban against MSI.
It's definitely so at the moment, so no Shadow Demon Mirana shenanigans to come out. But of course for Aces, We don't know yet if it's a core or support Mirana, but if it is a support, then Skydive Mage Mirana, it's definitely not the craziest roaming duo. Of course, Mirana maybe can set up the arrows herself. Concussive Shot really isn't enough of a setup, I feel like, but Leshrac is the pick to just partner up with the Shadow Demon. Most likely a support, but core Leshracs can just completely snowball and just kill everything in sight.
With this Lestrak, that means the Luna Dream is dead for this game, unfortunately. I don't think we're
Well,
going to be
go
seeing
go
her.
Leshrac, Shadow Demon, Lina, aggressive tri-lane.
Yeah, so many stuns. You can't go wrong with that many stuns, ever. I mean, you could definitely have worse tri-lanes. Does get a lot worse than that, but it also gets a lot better. So, Leshrac probably supports. I like him in this game a little bit more as support, just because if you're going to be core, you need so much survivability if you're going to be up against Scarith Mage and Centaur that he's probably going to take way too long to get online. And Leshrac as a core usually needs to be online very quickly, so you can get early kills with his spells.
That is true enough. I mean, Leshrac definitely is a momentum-based core if he is played as such. Just needs to get that early good start and kind of snowball completely. And if that doesn't happen, you're suddenly in a pretty bad position. But for Aces now, what do they pick up as their fourth here? They do have their offlaner, possibly the two supports, maybe Mirana core, and well, mid laner, something that could go up against Brewmaster fairly well. Huh. I get, I would like to see some invokers, to be honest. That hero isn't played often enough nowadays.
I think it'll be a great pickup for MSI to do that. If you have a Shadow Demon, then Sunstrikes become a lot better, and you have a Chain Stun on top of the disruption, so even if you are a little bit slow on the draw with Sunstrike, you'll most likely be able to hit it unless you're just playing really poorly. So it would be a nice pickup for MSI. With this Templar Assassin pick, still decent. TA has a relatively decent matchup versus the Invoker. Gets a little bit worse as time goes on, but TA could definitely kill the Invoker off, so maybe they don't want to do this, but with this TA pick, Aces are looking to be very aggressive in the early stages. I don't think this is going to be one of those games where they back off and try to pick up a hyper carry. They're going to try to end the game a lot earlier than that.
Yeah, it just feels like Aces, they're a team that prefers early aggression. Just get command of the game and hopefully not give it away. And with the processing, like you said, it's definitely an aggressive pick for them. So MSI, how do they react now? They do have, of course, pretty potent roamers, Shadow Demon and the Leshrac. Even up against Templar Assassin with the Refraction. Just getting the Diabolic Edict, for example, just chews through the Refractions. And, well, we'll see what they want to go for as their own fourth. I still think MSI, they could go for an aggressive tri-lane, depending on what Aces go for as their fifth, as their own tri-lane themselves, but what would be good as I guess Slark wouldn't be too bad up against what Aces have.
Yeah, that would be pretty decent. When you're running a Leshrac Shadow Demon, you could really go for anybody as that third one, just because the two heroes are self-sufficient as a dual lane. If you make it a tri-lane, then things are still going to be pretty decent. So no matter what MSI go for, they have the option of running Leshrac Core, Leshrac Support. They could even go for something like an Ancient Apparition, and then have those three heroes go in a tri-lane with Leshrac being played as a core hero. And then with three ranged heroes, suddenly Chilling Touch gets amazing. But it is going to be a Magnus. He said getting a little bit more popularity nowadays. Doesn't have the best matchup versus Templar Assassin, though. Being a melee hero that's reliant on burst means that he's going to be, most of the times, running up against that Refraction shield.
Yeah, Magnus probably, if played in the mid lane, will just stay on his own high ground, spam out the shockwave to get the last hits, I would think. Because Temper Assassin, well, you definitely don't want to exchange right clicks with that hero. At least not if you're a Magnus, so... But overall, the combination is pretty real. Reverse Polarity into Split Earth, for example. Just a pretty solid 2-second stun to follow up the Reverse Polarity AoE. Brewmaster Thunderclap as well. At the moment though, who could they go for as their core now? I guess Anti-Mage is still a possibility, just an elusive hero, plus with the Empower and the Battle Fury. And of course Mana Void also being AoE, definitely something to combo up with the Reverse Polarity. Some teams though, like a Phantom Assassin for example, what would you prefer now as the fifth for MSI?
Well, I think if you're MSI, you're going to be prioritizing the melee heroes because you want to get value out of your Empower. That being said, Phantom Assassin does seem like a really good pick here. She'll have to deal with a lot of stuff, but Blur is fantastic against TA, and there's really no heroes that are great against Centaur Scarith Mage. I guess Lifestealer would be among the best, but overall PA probably works a little bit better with Leshrac and Shadow Demon in that regard. So Yeah, I think PA is a pretty nice way to go, but as long as it's melee, I think MSI are going to be okay with that. They could also go for Dusa Gyrocopter, who also benefit very heavily from the Empower, but it's really mostly flavor. With the Enigma as the last pick, maybe Gyrocopter gets a little bit better in this situation, just because he will be able to get more value out of his AoE, but yeah, I don't know. As long as they get someone who could benefit very heavily from Empower and isn't just pure single target.
Well, at the moment, MSI do actually think that this Magnus might be just off lane for them as well, because I just struggle to see their lanes. Brewmaster, some teams like to play him in the off lane. Or I guess nobody would struggle all that much considering it's going to be Mirana, Skyraf, and oh wait, Medusa as the last one, so definitely has some AoE split shots. Is pretty crazy empowered to boost up the damage as well. And even the the Stone Gaze, just when everybody's clumped up after the reverse polarity, well, it definitely can be strong here. But still, how do they lane this? Do they go aggressive trilane with a Medusa, which I'm not too sure of, but they would be up against the dual lane, so I guess it could work out.
Yeah, they probably can get away with it just because they know that it's very likely that the Enigma is going to be in the jungle. So if you're going to be running a lane down there, then you probably will be relatively safe. And that being said, it looks like they are going to be running just a defensive tri-lane, and it's either going to be Mag or Brewmaster off to the off lane, and it will be a Brewmaster going bot for MSI, but this Medusa is going to get some pretty nice value out of Empower. It doesn't get Cleave, unfortunately, but still any plus damage you could put on the Medusa is going to be fantastic. With Shadow Demon to back her up, it's going to be hard to kill her off, but I think Aces have enough tools to stand a fighting chance. But also, all that being said, let's see who's going to be playing what on MSI. We got Shenrui on that Medusa, last pick for MSI. GTY is going to be on the Leshrac with JYC on the Shadow Demon. Over on mid, we got BYB on the Mag, and that leaves to the bottom lane Jotan on the Brewmaster.
And for Aces, Fox will be playing the Mirana with Killer and Hawk 7 on the Skyraf Mage. As Secret will be playing that Jungle Enigma for them, leaving Misa on the Temper Assassin mid lane, and the last one will be Triple D on the Centaur. And man, I love MSI's names. I've casted them a couple of times myself, of course, and every single time I've had a co-caster try to go for their names, they're like, holy crap, man, just YND, BYB, JYC, what?
They all have Trick in their name, so it's like, oh, that guy's name is Trick. No, they're all named Trick. So, yeah, their names are just, at least they're like pronounceable. You could actually figure out how to relatively easily pronounce them. They're gonna find the Centaur who has an illusion rune. Stun is going to line up very well, but that combination is not that great versus Centaur, who is one of the tankier heroes in the early stages. They're gonna bring him down to half HP, force out a Tango, but it's gonna be pretty difficult without the Medusa to help out, and really Medusa can't help out that much.
It's definitely true, and Medusa, I guess, if you get the correct positioning on the lane and get the Mystic Snake to actually bounce later on and get it on the Magnus or something, or the Centaur rather, but you can already see supports, Smoked Up, Leshrac and Shadow Demon. They want to go for, well, what the combination really does best, early aggression. And early on, especially that Misa has himself the Psy Blades instead of Refraction or anything. Well, now he has Refraction as well if he wants to pick it up, but level 1, not all that strong.
Yeah, and really once Mag hits level 2, then that's going to be where the supports want to strike. If you could get the Disruption, that's great, but if you need to get a Skewer behind, that's just a guaranteed kill. Unfortunately, the angle not quite working out. They're going to get the Disruption regardless, even though the Split Earth. This is very long-range initiation onto this Templar Assassin, and it will ultimately not bear fruit, but unfortunately for MSI, they're going to have to back up with their supports, and Misa's going to be fine to continue farming. She does have Refraction as well now, so she will be able to survive that a little bit easier, since none of these heroes have any great ways of burning through that shield.
It's definitely true. Oh, well, they actually might catch Centaur for themselves. They have the Disruption. They're not gonna go for it though, because once again, they didn't have any follow-up. No Creep Wave, no Medusa close by or anything, so thankfully for Aces, the ganks haven't really worked out at the moment, and Enigma, he should have absolutely free farm. Already has his Soul Ring finished up as well, and really nothing should stop him since nothing is blocking his camps. MSI, they didn't put any effort at all in trying to slow down the Enigma.
And sometimes you see teams just going full out and blocking, all but one of the Enigma's camps, just realistically with 2 observers, 2 sentries, the whole 9 yards. But this game, they're not going to do that. And the fact that their supports aren't getting any successful rotations off actually hurting MSI quite a bit because they are facing up against the jungle Enigma, who's going to be getting a ton of farm, and then you have to look at the Scarith Mage, who's also on full pulling duty, so he's going to get a lot of farm as well. So the supports for aces, or the 4-5 position heroes, are going to be getting a lot, whereas MSI, they've been roaming around the map very heavily, applying very passive pressure, but nothing too tangible. I mean, a little bit of restoration being forced out, that's nothing too great.
It's definitely, I think, overall in nowadays Dota, just early aggression or the rotations early on from the supports tend to set the pace of the game. So them not working out means, like you mentioned, that they will be under-leveled a little bit and just won't have as big of an impact. Enigma, if he just continues to free farm like this in the jungle, get himself that fast mech, maybe go for those pushes, and Skyriff Mage of course getting there faster level 6 thanks to just having free roam of the pool. So just aces at the moment, I think they're looking pretty good. But of course, MSI, man, they have crazy team fight for themselves if they ever reach those level 6s. And aces, I'm not too sure. Whoever gets the first blink daggers, it feels like, might just have the advantage in this game.
Yeah, I think that's fair. MSI, they're kind of okay with the status quo because, again, the real objective in the early game for them is to not have the Medusa die, and with only a Centaur up on top lane, the Medusa's not in any serious trouble. In fact, she's not in any trouble at all. So it's only a matter of time before aces decide to change the way this game is being played and start to be on the aggressive. TA probably needs either like something like Phase Boots or a Blink Dagger in order to start that. Centaur definitely needs his Blink Dagger as well, and the rest of the heroes don't really need that much except for just pure levels. So eventually these heroes are going to leave and, oh no, Triple D. This sucks.
Oh, just cheeky plays, and now there's the Soul Catcher as well. I'm not too sure if Shadow Demon can do it. He doesn't have the Shadow Poison, but slowly but surely, right click away, and Triple D actually doesn't have return either skill, so I think this is gonna just be first blood here. There's no way out from this.
Shooting fish in a barrel. He's
Oh,
gonna
they're
buy
waiting for the
his roll before he dies, but there's no escape from that. If you're a Centaur, there's literally nothing you could do once that happens.
Oh, and that's really nicely done by BYB as well there. And of course, Centaur, he really should have expected this, and now with the disruption comes out as well. Will the Spirit Earth land? Yes, it actually will, but he got the refraction off before. But there comes the Edict, and well, Misa, I don't think he can escape this. Or can he?
There's
One
no
more
mana
shockwave,
on
the
the
right
mag.
click now.
No mana on the mag, but level 1 Edict actually just does a ton of damage, and getting that many right clicks on a hero, your refraction is not going to hold out against that. So MSI are actually the ones to get the first couple of kills. First one was kind of a weird kill, like you can't really count that as them getting a legitimate rotation or anything like that, but it's a kill nonetheless, giving them first blood, and then the secondary one as well. Aces, they want to be aggressive in this game, and if they're down in kill score, then their aggression is going to be slowed down for however long it takes for them to get their Blink Daggers up.
Well, the one positive that the supports roamed into the mid lane after the kill on Triple D was that Centaur, he actually gets some levels now on this off lane as well. He was struggling so damn hard just because the supports were constantly pulling as well as harassing him out. So now he's almost on par with Chotan's Brewmaster. So both offlaners level 4. Brewmaster doing a little bit better, but we still haven't the Enigma farming up. Actually, he has to go back to base to region up. He's level 6 though. Do you think he's actually planning on going to a lane now to just go for the black hole early on and secure some kills?
If you can do that, it's great. It's very hard to do so. He has gone for a Malefice list build, so any rotations that he does make are not really going to be that great. With 2 points Midnight Pulse, it's 1 more point than we ordinarily see at this stage. He's going to be able to push very aggressively, as just laying down the Midnight Pulse is going to dissuade the Brewmaster from standing anywhere near that. But this Enigma is actually going to get active a lot earlier than most Enigmas do. Usually it's wait until mech, wait until at least level 7 so that your demonic conversions are maxed out. But he's just going to go for it. Has all the Enigma army at his side, and it's forcing a rotation now as the Leshrac and Mag all have to come down and deal with this.
To be honest, I think this is kind of the first time I see a build without the Malefice even skilled at all. And I'm not too sure if I like it. I think just... Oh, actually there's the stun onto Secret, but I just don't feel like Midnight Pulse offers enough for that one skill into it.
Well, we're going to see more initiation here as they get more skills being thrown the enemy way, and now the Midnight Pulse is down. Tower already is destroyed though. Tower, the black hole and the arrow is going to land onto 3. Stars are going to fall, and BYB as well as the Shadow Demon are going to drop, but here comes Jotan. Secret doesn't really have any great way of escaping this one except for just trying to run away. I don't think that's going to happen. Edict right on his tail. Going to be himself in trade, but a 3-man black hole is very good. You're not going to see that at this stage in the game almost ever.
He just completely gone for them. He ran for them, and he was kind of hoping that the black hole will catch all three of them, and just did on the edge. Arrow also to follow up. Nice sleep storm to come out from Mirana as well, but Enigma unfortunately didn't purchase too much before his death. He actually had like 1k gold, so could have gone for the mech recipe. Still had enough after the death event to get the buckler, so not all that bad. And the 2-for-1 exchange definitely favoring Aces, considering they were 2-0 behind before this fight. And Mirana, whoa, he's going for a Midas by the looks of it as well. So definitely wants to be relevant even in the later stages of the game.
I think this isn't the worst move to go for. Normally, Miranas need a whole lot more items than other heroes in order to be a relevant hero late game, but with Templar Assassin, Centaur, and Enigma to hold down the fort, the Mirana can take this slow hit in power because she's spending a lot of gold into pretty much an investment in order to get gold and experience later on. So this build for Mirana, since it will be up fairly decently at 8 minutes absolute maximum, then she'll be able to make some pretty good usage of it. Now, this is kind of dependent on everyone else from Aces doing very well. Templar Assassin needs to get her Blink Dagger up. Centaur needs to get his as well. If all that happens, then the Midas is going to be well worth it. If not, then the Mirana can easily be punished.
Oh, we'll see which one it ends up being. And to be honest, with this pause, with MSI being disconnected, I suddenly remembered that it's almost the case every single time I see MSI play. Usually, they're really often just having small pauses and writing into the chat with caps, "Hang!" which should indicate that the PC just hung up or something, but is lagging, freezing, I don't know, but hopefully this will be one of the few pauses we're gonna have at all.
Nobody likes pauses, ever. It's a fact. Pauses are terrible, and they should be removed from the game. Maybe not that much.
That bad. That bad.
They're that terrible, yeah. They're setting up for mid as there's the bubble, and the disruption's already out. This is going to get hit with a lot of spells, but all that's absorbed by his refraction. RP, though, that's quite a lot of commitment, and scared back in the tower. Yeah, Aces is pretty screwed right now. Misa is pretty screwed. Goddamn, why do they have so many names in their name?
I have no idea, but... Well, to be honest, having to use RP for that, I think Aces, they are rather fine with it, because usually when it's just a 3-man rotation, you don't really need that RP, but Templar Assassin being a hero like he is, with the refraction, with the meld as well, just so damn annoying to go up against him. And actually Fox, he's man fighting Chotan, he gets the rune. Fox doesn't have enough mana for a leap, but Chotan doesn't really follow up either. It could have gone really south, Brewmaster, if he had enough mana for a Primal Split, for example. But not to be, so Mirana just has to run all the way home to regen up.
Yeah, Mirana's not going to win those fights early on, pretty much ever. She doesn't have phase boots or anything like that, and she's gone for the Hand of Midas, so a little bit of attack speed, that's pretty much it. They're setting up once again for Misa over on mid lane Skewer. If it's accurate, it could happen, although Misa seems to know that something's up and will back out. I think the Mag actually did have an angle to get that Skewer, although only level 2, and you're going to have to time it absolutely perfectly, otherwise you just completely whiff, but... Either way, looks like the Templar Assassin is going to escape, and we do see the Brewmaster, as you said, with the split levels available. So what is he going to want to do with this one? He's going to find Secret. Unfortunately, not landing that clap. If you don't land the clap, you're not going to get the kill with the split, most likely.
Yeah, Primal Split alone just usually isn't enough to bring down a full HP hero, at least when he has some armor on himself as well. Buckler plus the Headrest I think would have been enough to keep the Secret alive. But Secret actually isn't farming as fast. Of course, he was involved in the bottom tier 1 going down, as well as the kills that happened there as well. But MSI, they will grab their own tower in return. Shenrui, he's going for slightly weird build. Has himself a Ring of Health plus a Band of Elven Skin. So just casual ring into Yasha here, or?
Yeah, I don't really know. Yasha is definitely going to be part of the build, since I believe the only other item that the band... builds into is the power treads, and I don't think she's going to go for power tread. That's a phase boot. So Yasha's definitely going to be coming down the line for Shenrui. The early Ring of Health is kind of weird. It is a decent item against what Aces have to go for Linken's, but I think in general I just like the mobility build more for Medusa. Get drums, get Yasha, and then use your movement speed to keep yourself alive. And well, it's not going to be that just yet, as she has slowed herself down quite a bit by going for this Ring of Health. Usually it's not necessary, and I don't think this lane is necessary either.
I have no idea really either, but looking at this MSI, they're going aggressive in the mid lane. They have reverse polarity ready as well as Shadow Demon backing up UIB just in case of the disruption if necessary. But Aces, of course, pushing themselves as well. And oh, the TPs are coming in. They get the double slow. The Psy Blades go through as well. One more trap comes out. Stampede. Will it be enough? The silence onto BYB. Magnus, he can't escape. One more Arcane Bolt, possibly to get the kill. But they do not get it yet. There's the skewer reverse party. Only onto one, though. Doesn't catch Triple D. And he actually goes for a double edge. Kind of suiciding himself there as well. But I guess a kill is a kill. Although I think the Centaur maybe could have made it out himself and get the kill onto Magnus somehow.
Yeah, probably. The hoof stomp missing was really not a great start for Aces in that fight. When you want to use Stampede that early, you generally can depend on a hoof stomp landing, but unfortunately a little bit out of range, and everyone was managed to get out of there. Mag, kind of being a baller, tried to turn around for a 2-man RP. That would have eventually secured his escape, so if he landed that 2-man, it would have been him living and those 2 heroes dying. But instead, RP is actually a pretty hard skill to land in those circumstances, so he's going to go down, ultimately a 1-for-1 trade, and well, it's going to be hurting both these heroes by quite a bit, as both of them are going to be wanting to go for their Blink Daggers, and both of them slowed down now.
Well, at the very least, with that fight, MSI makes it so that Aces actually have to turn away from this bottom lane push. They were otherwise pressuring the tier 2 already, so some breathing space there. I'm a little bit surprised that, although MSI they reacted to the aggression, that Brewmaster wasn't the one to TP, and oh, silence in the mid lane onto Shea. We see one more Arcane Bolt to come out from Killer, and Hawk should be enough with one more right-click Malphite just in case. Defensive disruption, buying some time, but a kill is a kill in the end for Secret. And still, Brewmaster, I mean, if anybody was to TP in, I think he would have been the best one.
Yeah, Brewmaster is going to want to teleport around once he gets his level 6. Maybe not when he doesn't have his ultimate up, but he has his ultimate. He doesn't really have any excuses for not being there, so kind of weird, but he is going to be going for his Blink Dagger, so at least MSI are going to have some more initiation outside of a random Shadow Demon. And having a Blink Dagger in your Brewmaster, it's worth waiting for, I think. The power level of the hero with that item as opposed to without is just so huge, so Jotan is going to be sure to get that item up relatively quickly, and Aces, I don't think they're going to be able to stop him, as he's only 200 gold away from that item. He has to be pretty suicidal if he's going to die right now.
Yeah, and actually not only him, it's also the Magnus getting rather close to his own Blink Dagger, 300 gold away at the moment. So they can definitely go for some aggression once they get those blinks. I mean, double blink, reverse polarity to blink Thunderclap, absolutely devastating. As Fox finally comes back to the lane as well. He was actually just chilling at the tier 2 in the trees for such a long time, but looks like they want to go mid lane, but Moonlight Shadow is there. Did they? Yeah, they saw MSI coming in.
There's the dust, so MSI, they know that they're going to be initiated upon as well. Black Hole onto Jotan as well as the Leshrac right before the Blink Dagger's picked out. That's the death of the Brewmaster and the Leshrac both. They're going to try to escape with the Shadow Demon, but Fox right on his tail is going to land a point-blank arrow. Stars are going to fall. That's going to be the death of the Shadow Demon eventually. Yeah, I don't think he can escape this Mirana. There we go. That's 3 kills in favor of Aces. Black Hole being the giant brick wall that the Brewmaster cannot pass, and I mean, they tried to go for that kill when Brewmaster was so close to his Blink Dagger. They're going to get punished for that, and they did. They kind of deserved it.
Well, at least Magnus still picks up his own Blink Dagger, but we've seen 2 black holes at the moment from the Enigma. Both of them absolutely spot on as well, ending up in 2 kills. This time around, they didn't even give away anything in return. But I actually thought this mid-tier 1 will fall as well. Looks like MSI, though, they even wrote it in Medusa to just stop the push. And look at this, a Hand of Midas picked up on the Temporary Assassin as well. Was struggling just because he died twice on the lane. But Midas gaming for Aces, is it a little bit just too greedy of an investment here?
I think it might be. Templar Assassin is one of those heroes that can do super well in the late game. Just ask Arteezy. So, I mean, having a late game Templar Assassin is never necessarily a bad thing, especially when you get that tower denied. However, it'll be Scarith Mage immediately punished, and as he will be quickly brought down. That being said, your Templar Assassin also needs to be able to hold down the fort for the other Hand of Midas that you have on your team in the Mirana, and with no Blink Dagger on the Centaur, the Templar Assassin's not going to be able to reposition herself comfortably in order to contribute early game, and without that, you're losing out on a lot of potential. So I don't really like this Hand of Midas in this circumstance. I think if you're going to be getting Templar Assassin Hand of Midas, she has to be the only one.
Well, and it's also the fact that he got it rather late. I mean, 13 minutes in, definitely not the best of timings considering he got a reasonable amount of last hits in the mid lane. Just him dying also gave away some gold, but maybe having double Hand of Midas might pay off in the long run. Although up against Medusa, oh, another skewer, they're not going on to Misa. Blink Thunderclap is there as well, Stampedo. And Misa suddenly, he's safe, even from the primal split, or actually, yeah, demonic perchance as well, so no slows anymore. He actually made it out.
Stampede is just such a great tool versus the primal split. There's nothing you could really do unless you throw the rock from very long range, and even if you do get that, it's unlikely that you're going to be able to follow up. Mirana's going to be thrown into the air, but that's about the end of it. Centaur, just such a great hero in that utility. There aren't any heroes that could offer that to you, and now Centaur is going to look to reinitiate onto Jotan. Hoof Stomp is going to miss as Jotan just narrowly blinks out of there, takes a double edge instead. No stuns or disables onto Jotan just yet. Where are these psionic traps? There's one. We'll slow him down with the Mystic Flare doing a lot of damage, but not quite enough to kill. Triple D's going to blink forward for another Hoof Stomp, looking for it. Double Edge is going to secure the kill. No Hoof Stomp needed. Now they're going to turn around, go for the Shadow Demon, try to TP out, but stuck around for way too long. He's going to go down as well. And Aces 9-6. Their Hands of Midas is looking pretty good right now.
Well, overall, I mean, Aces, they started off a little bit wobbly. MSI getting the first blood and then another kill shortly after as well. But Aces did definitely regain their composure at the moment. 2k gold lead or net worth lead. XP actually 4,000 in their favor. Usually when you have an Enigma, a net worth as well as an XP lead isn't all that shocking, but just really well fought for Aces. And look at the Enigma going straight off BKB as well. There will still be reverse polarity to stop it, but you're actually going to have to get rather close to the black hole, so you might even get sucked in and not get the reverse polarity off at all. So once he gets the BKB, I'm expecting to see just as great of black holes as he's already had before.
Yeah, the Enigma has been using black hole a lot more than we ordinarily see in games, which is sometimes black hole just isn't used ever. So nice to see him actually deciding to use that spell this game. Trick is being BYB actually is being chased down by the Templar Assassin. Stone Gaze being forced out from the Medusa to keep her friendly mag safe, but that was just Aces. Not Aces, god damn it, these people have so many names. Misa just going strong with the Templar Assassin. They're going to initiate right onto him again, though. Stuck around for a little bit too long, and Triple D was in the area, killing off the Magnus in the end, and now they're going to get reinitiated upon Brewmaster's going to land the clap with the Split Earth onto the Scarlet Mage. That's him down. Triple D trying to struggle to land any sort of spells. They're going to try to go for the distract. They will kill him off in that black hole onto Jotan. Triple D taking a lot of damage, but he will stick up, and he will be just fine. RP, though, going to come in and land onto 3. Fox is in the back cleaning up, though, and suddenly BYB doesn't have anyone to skewer back into. He's going to be brought down as well, and that's a 4-for-2 trade. Oh, man, that was actually surprisingly well played by Aces. I thought it would have been a lot worse with them.
Yeah, and Brewmaster, I'm not too sure if he didn't have the primal split or what, or it just came up as he died, but he just tried to run away instead of popping the primal split. I'm not too sure about what that was all about there. Reverse polarity was pretty damn good though. Unfortunately, no follow-up at all. If the Medusa had been there, even without the Stone Gauge, just having that Mystic Snake there might have been enough with the split shot being maxed out, but not to be black hole. I think it will only catch the Brewmaster as well, but in the end, it was all enough, and Aces 14-8, just extending their lead even further. At the very least, though, Medusa is still #1 in net worth.
Yeah, and that's what you would kind of be hoping for in any circumstance, that your Medusa's #1. Because if she's not, then you're going to be in for a very, very tough game. Not irrecoverable, but certainly not one that you would want to be playing. The gold that Aces took after that fight is going to give Misa a whole bunch. 2,300 onto this Templar Assassin with the Hand of Midas working, and there is going to be a Lincoln Sphere on the Mirana as well. Not the item I really would have expected on the hero, but it is okay. Not exactly Lincoln Sphere on Medusa, though. They're going to spot out the Scarlet Mage over on bottom. Blink forward for a clap, and the split. Stampede, this time is used a little bit too late, as the Scarlet Mage is probably going to go down. However, he's slowly running away. Not going to happen. Secure forward, and he's down for the count. Now the Enigma up into the air over on the right side. Shunrui is in the area, can mess with Secret a little bit. Secret doesn't have a black hole, has a mech to escape this, but he's completely surrounded. He's completely screwed as well.
Yeah, there's no assistance either. It's just, he's been there for such a long time, finally will die. And, well, he, actually I don't even know why he just didn't go and try for the TP out or something. He just tried to run towards the side shop. I have no idea what he had in mind, but it backfired, whatever it was.
Unfortunately for Enigma, choosing to go for a black BKB in this circumstance is going to hurt him. A Blink Dagger would have at least given him a chance of survival, but it's a more standard build, I think, BKB, and overall I think it's better, so marginal cases there. But either way, it's going to be a couple heroes that Aces lose over on the bottom lane, and they're going to look to rotate back in. They see a very, very weak Shadow Demon, and Centaur, that's pretty tasty. He's not going to go for it, though. I think most players would have just YOLO and ran in and tried to get that Shadow Demon kill, but he's going to show some restraint, and Shadow Demon's going to survive.
Oh, I definitely would have YOLO'd there. Just kill! I probably died myself, but really nicely done by the center backing off like that. So overall, 14 to 10 now. MSI getting something in return. Looking at the graphs, actually only a 3,000 lead, what used to be a 5,000 in net worth. XP dropping down from about 6,000 to also 4,000 or so. So MSI, of course, not a comeback yet, or I guess Aces, they weren't really that far ahead at any point in the game anyway. Since they just haven't been able to actually get buildings, although they have the Enigma, they have the conversions. But just not any luck with the tower pushes, and oh, we might have a huge clash in the mid lane now.
Yeah, they haven't actually tried to go for many tower pushes outside of the bottom lane. Arrow is going to narrowly miss on the Shadow Demon. MSI, how ready are they for this fight? They have an RP as well as a split in 13 seconds. So if they hold out for a little while longer, they'll be able to make this tower defense. And I think Aces, they should know about this. They have a black hole and they're ready to fight as well. But the chip damage from Fox is going to start. And he's got to watch out for Leshrac over onto the side. There's a Stampede in. Centaur's going to blink forward. Misses his stop onto everyone. It's actually going to be BYB on the bottom end who's going to be chased. But now the split happening. Reinitiating onto the Centaur. It's taking a lot of damage. He's going to go down. BYB looking for an RP. He's going to get a black hole instead. He's going to go down as well. Shenrui going to run forward Killer Hawk as well as Misa. Turn them both to Stoner. At the very least, a Templar Assassin. Bring him down with the physical damage of the Brewmaster. At the same time, going to go for the Scarith Mage. Mirana up into the air. Not looking too good either. Does she have a leap? She does, and it's going to help her get a little bit of distance, but Jotan's right on her tail, and this constant slows isn't going to be enough. Her Lincoln Sphere might buy her survival right here, as looks like MSI are out of crowd control effects. That being said, after all said and done, it is a 3-for-1. Black Hole being used, and Aces getting almost completely demolished there.
So we're not too sure if the Black Hole was really warranted there. They got the Ancient Seal off, which is maxed out as well. So there was no way Magnus will actually escape. Yes, he had the haste room, but Malphite would have been enough because he was dropping so low so fast. Ancient Seal boosting up the magic damage. So if they had the Black Hole for another situation in that fight, might have been completely different, but extremely well done from MSI. Suddenly getting the next set of items as well, even on the supports. Yule Scepter on Leshrac, so can set up his own splitters now as well, or just save himself or throw up the enemy when they're trying to escape with a Stampede, for example. And of course Medusa just slowly but surely getting bigger and bigger, and that was a fight MSI won without reverse polarity as well.
Yeah, the Mag got silenced there, so not much you could do about that as Mag unless you're going to be getting a BKB. With the Staff of Wizardry, it's not going to be for a long time. I think really that fight went so poorly for Aces because they used Centaur Stampede, but the Hoof Stomp landed on nobody, and that's pretty much unheard of. When you want to be initiating with Centaur, you have to be landing a Hoof Stomp at least on one person. I mean, that's the bare minimum. Usually, it's two heroes where Centaurs really get good initiation, but running headlong into the enemy like that and not landing anything was absolutely crippling for their team fight. They lost all sense of initiation. They ran straight into a Brewmaster, and they used their best escape tool in order to initiate in the Stampede, so they couldn't escape from that. However, Leshrac is going to be hit with a arrow. He's going to get put into a bubble, and he will survive for now. He actually will survive in its entirety, and it looks like Shenrui, just with the Stone Gaze, is going to draw attention off of the Leshrac, and everyone will survive, at least unless Misa wants to reinitiate, but doesn't seem like that's the case.
Man, this Medusa has had some pretty good Stone Gazes, to be honest, overall in this game so far. But BYB looks like they still want to keep on going. They all got slowed down by a Psionic Trap, but man, this Medusa is already level 16, so level 3 ultimate, Manta style finished as well. It's actually getting, I think, more farm than Aces are happy about giving to the Medusa. And now that Magnus is also just trying to get more levels, trying to get higher points into the Empower, Medusa will just keep on getting scarier, and well, Aces, they have what it takes to deal with him potentially, but can they stop the push coming out? Secret, his Black Hole is still on cooldown, so is the Stampede. Do they even go for the tier 2 defense at all?
I don't think they should. Up against the Diabolic Edict, the tower's going to fall so quickly. They know that the enemy still has a split and RP, which generally have lower cooldowns than what the Aces team is working with, mostly the Black Hole. So MSI, they're going to make rotations over to the mid lane, take that. Slide up to the top lane, take that as well. Only the bottom lane tower is safe for right now. Unfortunately for them, they don't have the best Roshing lineup. They don't have anyone who could reliably tank that, and their damage is not that high without any minus armor, so killing off Rosh is going to be a little bit more risky for MSI, but I think just going for this last tier 2 tower is perfectly feasible, and that's probably what they're going to be looking to do right now.
Yeah, probably. I guess they could just Rosh Brewmaster, maybe tanking it up. Diabolic Edict helping out a little bit in the kill, but I think the tier 2 is probably the safer choice. But having said that, Aces, 5-man smoke coming out. Black Hole is ready as well. Oh man, they're gonna get the Medusa kill, and if they do, it's gonna be huge here. They're gonna just mow down the trees. The Hoofstomp does connect onto Shenryu as well. Double H. He's so damn tanky. Oh my god, the mana shield. He's somehow still alive, but not enough mana. There's the Black Hole. Catches Chotan as well, the Brewmaster. But do they have enough follow-up? Reverse Polarity finally comes out. BKB on Misa though. Doesn't do all that much. Skewer onto 2 enemy heroes. But they're still gonna get BYB. Maybe. No, they're focusing on the Brewlings instead. The right clicks are coming in from the Temperor, who gets thrown up in the air by the Cyclone now as... Well, the Hoofstomp double H, they kill off a Shadow Demon, actually, and the Centaur as well. Can they get the Brewmaster, or can he blink out after the... No, he cannot. So, suddenly, 4 heroes dead.
Yeah, Medusa had time to get the Stone Gaze off, I think, but for whatever reason, didn't. A Stone Gaze almost would have ensured her survival. She was very tanky, though, as you said. Like, she ate a full Mystic Flare and pretty much didn't lose any health from that at all, so... Mana Shield is pretty strong. Unfortunately, the Stone Gaze didn't come out, and MSI, they were very split away from each other. The Brewmaster and Magnus came in, and they were like, alright guys, let's do it. And then the Leshrac and Shadow Demon were still pretty much near the tier 1 tower area. They're like, wait, are we doing this? Guys, wait up. So, MSI taking a very scattered fight, and certainly going to be punishing them. In fact, they lose a tower, and they're going to lose Roshan off of this as well. Without RP or split, they can't really contest this.
Well, at the very least, Secret doesn't have any Eidolons, but well, I guess some are just coming in now as we speak. Eidolons definitely will help out greatly, and of course, Meld minus armor, one of the best tools to take care of Roshan, but MSI, they are coming back in as well. They don't have reverse polarity, nor do they have the primal split. Stone Gaze, though, itself might already be enough, but Roshan is already going to go Cho'Town. Oh, he actually snatches it! Are you kidding me? There's the Stone Gaze as well. Triple D. He can't do anything though. Stampede was off cooldown, but he just didn't get to use it. Fox gets the leap out, but I'm not too sure if he's safe as I'm getting some server lag. 2 heroes teeping back to base, and I think Fox is going to be fine as well. Maybe. No, the Shockwave gets the kill. So they snatch the Aegis. They take 2 kills, and was it even a snatch? No, it was a pickup. He even got the Roshan last hit. Holy crap.
Wow, Cho'Tan with the biggest of plays. That is absolutely disastrous for Aces. They get out with a whole bunch of heroes because they're using their first charges of BKB or secondary charges in order to get that magic immunity and then escape. Not exactly ideal, but losing Roshan on top of that is terrible with the Aegis as well. Nothing but defeats there for Aces, and they might even lose a little bit more. The ultimate status is Magnus has his, Brewmaster has his as well, and he's going to be pretty suicidal. There's a Hoof Stomp onto Shenryu, but they tried to go for it last time. It's not going to work. Split out from the Brewmaster. He's going to throw a rock down south. Stampede is there for some reason. It's a little bit late for that. Tower goes down. The Brewmaster's running interference. Meanwhile, Shenryu is just working on the melee Raxes. He's the only one hitting it with a couple of Ruling punches as well, but Aces, they can't get initiation onto this one, and they're going to lose their mid-Raxes without even contesting it at all. There it goes, and Triple D might land a stomp onto Shenryu, but will it actually do anything? Shenrui's actually going to walk out and be just fine. Triple D instead deciding not to go for it. Now the Blink Hoof Stomp is once again going to be held. Force that Hoof Stomp. There it is, finally, but Shenrui's so tanky, and now the distraction hit with an arrow. The RP, though, catching everyone with the clap. They're all going to get so much damage on them. BKBs do pop out. Misa's going to try to turn this one around, but he can't catch up to anyone. Demonic Purge and Stone Gaze slowing him down. They're going to chase down Secret in the trees. Misa off to the side as well. Secret is going to be brought down as Misa is going to be focused as well. In between 4 heroes, not really any escape for him. That's 4 kills going the way of MSI. They lose their Leshrac. Not a big deal at all. Fox is going to escape, but this is going to be the entirety of the melee of the mid-Rax is taken down, and Aces is pretty much on their deathbed.
Oh wow, just that one Roshan fight gave suddenly MSI so much momentum that they could come into the mid lane and get the Rax really. And Aces, it feels like every time they're trying to fight without the black hole, they just get completely wrecked pretty much. And MSI, they're gonna get the last outer tower as well, because fortunately enough for them, the creep wave just arrived at it anyway. And Shenryu man 4.4k in the bank now. Can Aces actually stop them? I mean, with a nice black hole, they can definitely wipe or counter wipe the team as well. Especially when there's no reverse polarity on MSI, but I really think MSI just wait for their ultimates to cool off and just go for another set of Rax.
You never really want to count out a team with Enigma. That being said, this Medusa is just so terrifyingly huge. Is going to buy up 2 ultimate orbs in her attempt at going for an Eye of Scotty. I don't know if she's going to get it. The game might just be over before then, but Medusa's just hitting like a truck. But more importantly, she's just so tanky. And Aces are constantly being suckered into trying to go for this Medusa, thinking, hey, agility hero, Medusa equals very soft hero equals easy kill. That's not really the case right now, as Medusa is probably the tankiest hero in the game. She's a lot tankier than the Centaur. Brewmaster is almost at Medusa's tankiness, but not quite. I mean, she has the most health in the game, the most armor, I want to say. Without doing a quick check, it looks like that is pretty much the case. So the most health, the most armor, and mana shield to back it all up. Killing Medusa is damn near impossible for aces.
Yeah, especially since the Shadow Demon just is there with the disruption as well, if really necessary, and not too sure if it really even comes down to that, to be honest, with the Eye of Skadi just boosting up the mana pool and the health pool both. Holy crap, man, it's looking so hard all of a sudden for aces. They were looking pretty damn good, but... Oh, Chotan actually, 5-second arrow. No follow-up. He has the Aegis as well, so I guess he doesn't care all that much. And the crafts, they're actually both in MSI's favor as well. They might get Chotan, though the stun is there. They pop the Aegis, but is it gonna be enough? They use the Moonlight Shadow as well. They're gonna need a huge black hole, but tier 3 already down, and Shenrui just keeps on going for the buildings.
If you have no Blink Dagger on your Enigma, that black hole is really, really hard to land, because look at the positioning for MSI. They're all over the place. Shenrui is the only one on the front lines, and with Split Shot going to town, you can't really get close enough as Enigma in order to get a black hole without getting sufficiently damaged. They're going to stampede forward, try to go for Shenrui, but Stone Gaze is there. Black hole should be canceled by the Stone Gaze, and it is. Black hole canceled, and now RP onto 2 with Medusa in the back end, just going to town onto everyone. Centaur's going to get a nice hoof stomp attempt, but it won't do jack to Shenrui, as it's going to be Misa in the back end. The only person on Ace is able to do anything, but he's just causing havoc, not actually doing that much damage. That's 3 down, should be 4 down, as Mirana is eventually going to create her back to Earth. Maybe the leap out is going to save her. Not with all the Blink Daggers. It's going to be a lot of damage onto Fox. However, still very tanky, this Mirana, and it looks like she will slip away. The Skyrath Mage, not so lucky. The top Raxes, not as lucky either. With only the Mirana to survive once again, this is going to be mega creeps for MSI.
Well, just MSI extremely well played overall. And to be honest, I really haven't felt the impact of a Centaur. Of course, it's not like he's been whiffing all the stuns himself or by himself. MSI just had really nice positioning, not clumping up with any heroes at all, as well as just the force dives and whatnot to help out whoever might get caught. So kind of a combination of Centaur just not finding the perfect times for the openings himself, and just MSI's great positioning.
Maybe we're also spoiled a little bit by seeing Rave Centaur all the time, who is constantly just going out of control. That's mega creeps, and now Shenrui is going to see what he can do right next to the enemy fountain. His 3,400 gold is going to park himself right outside of the enemy fountain and then just go to town. Fox is barely going to survive, but no damage is going to Shenrui. He is legitimately just fountain farming the enemy. Can't do that much damage, though, because with such a stat-heavy build, you are prioritizing survivability first over damage, and let's see if Shenrui can survive this. He's stunned up, he's silenced, he's getting a whole boatload of damage thrown to him, and now he's going to turn around and kill everyone. And then back end, Misa's going to try to kill the Distract, but he's melded, and still he can't escape that one. There he goes. That's GG.
Well, it was a pretty even game, to be honest, but MSI, oh, there's the reverse polarity as well. Just getting the outro frags, I guess, for their team. But the rest was a really even game, could have really gone either way, just one team fight to make it so that Medusa was a little bit too huge, and just giving away the Aegis plus the Roshan kill as well. A little bit too devastating there. So MSI, they win game number 1, but it is a 2-game series, and I really wouldn't be all that surprised if Aces took game number 2.
Yeah, that Roshan just swung the fight so hard. If you look at the graphs, it was just going pretty decently for Aces, but still pretty close. And then, well, unfortunately, you can't see the graphs anymore. But that Roshan fight was just so devastating. They lost everything, and they gave away a lot of momentum to MSI, who ordinarily would have been a little more cautious in pushing in. They had the Aegis, so they're like, yeah, screw it. Worst happens that we lose the Aegis, and we lose a couple heroes as well. Not too bad, but at the end of the day, that gave MSI enough momentum to just push in for the win.
Well, guys, so that's it for game number 1. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed, be sure to follow us as well. All the necessary links are below the stream. Should be enough information there. And just hope to see you in game number 2, which should be coming up in just a couple of minutes time.